Hello everyone, today we're going to replace the rear wheel bearing for this 2015 Ford Fusion. The procedure applies for any Fusion second generation front wheel drive. The first thing that I'm going to do is remove the tire. The next step is going to be put our parking brake in service mode. For the sake of the length of this video, I'm going to put a link in the description below that it will tell you how to do that step by step. Just remember, this is something really important, because if we don't do that, we can damage the brake calipers. Once we set the electronic parking brake in service mode, the next step is going to be remove this wire. The next step is going to be pushing the caliper cylinder inside of its cavity. To do that, I'm going to use a screwdriver, which I'm going to fix using the brake pad and then pushing the thing in. I don't need to do like too much, it's just a little bit in order to release the caliper. Now I'm going to remove the caliper and the brake pads. To do that, there are two bolts, one here, one here. So there is a plastic cap here and the other one up here too. I'm going to remove those caps and then I will have access to the bolts. With an Allen socket size 7, I'm going to loose and remove those bolts. Let's remove the caliper. Now the brake pads. Now without the caliper, we're going to remove this bracket. To do that, there are two bolts in the back side. The size of these bolts are 15 millimeters, and is what we're going to do now. These are the two bolts that I was talking about. Without the bracket, we can remove the rotor. The next step is going to be unplug this wire. To do that, there is a small screw here, and to remove the screw, we're going to use this torque socket. The size is the T25. And finally, to remove the bearing, we're going to remove these 4 bolts. To do that, we're going to use a 15 millimeter socket. Now with a chisel, I'm gonna hit a little bit the bearing in here too, hoping that that will create a little bit of rotation between the bearing and the suspension, or the place that holds the bearing. Okay, I already hit the bearing, the body of the bearing in different sides. It's not moving at all. So it's gonna be time to be a little bit creative, I guess. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut one of these to remove it, and then try to make, with the help of some bolts, like some sort of like homemade extractor. Let's see if it works, and if not, we will have to try something different. I'm gonna cut another one to place another one like this. Seems like he's coming off. That's good. So what I'm gonna do now is pretty much the same thing, but I'm gonna spin the bearing to push in the lower part and try to pull out the bearing in a more even way. Alright, well, finally we were able to remove the bearing. As you can see, there is rust everywhere, but it's finally out. Alright, I already cleaned this the best that I could. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna place the new bearing. Be careful to assemble the bearing in the position that should be. In this case, this is the driver's side, so the sensor goes towards the front of the car. Just be careful with that, and basically the process now is going to be the same thing that we did, just going backwards. So as I said, I'm going to place the bearing and then put my new bolts that attach the bearing with the suspension. If you can get new bolts, obviously that will be better. Okay, I have already in place my 4 bolts. I'm gonna torque them out, and the torque for these bolts is 133 newtons meter. Now I'm gonna place this sensor here. If you have the means to torque this screw, the torque spec is 5.4 newtons meter. It's not a critical component. As long as it's tight, it's fine. The next thing is going to be place back this bracket, which is the one that holds the caliper and the brake pads. But before, let's place back the disc. I'm gonna torque these two, and the torque to apply is 90 newtons per meter. Now let's place back the brake pads. And now the caliper. The torque to apply in the caliper bolts is 28 newtons meter. And before I forget, I'm gonna remove the maintenance mode in the electronic parking brake. As I said earlier in the video, check the description below. There is a link there that shows the procedure to do this as well. Place back these caps. And finally this one. Before I place back the wheel, I'm going to turn on the car and pump the brakes several times, because as you can remember, we push inside of the cavity the caliper cylinder. So what we want is this cylinder to come back at its normal operation position. It's super important to do that, because if you don't do this, you're gonna drive the car, and the first time that you try to brake, the car won't brake, and then you can be involved in an accident. So please just be careful to do this step as well. The only remaining thing is place back the wheel. Well, with this we're finishing the video. The car feels good, no noise, nothing abnormal, so everything is fine. I hope this video is helpful for you, save you some money. If that is the case, I will appreciate if you click on like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.